As of April 2024, 7 of the top 10 most played games by daily players are PvP games. 7 out of 10. One of them, I think it's which would be Helldivers 2. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that's a huge win for the PvEers like me because I'm sure you guys already know I'm on team PvE. I'm a I'm a huge PvE guy. I'll talk about that more in a second, but I don't hate PvP. I feel like when I speak to a lot of other PvEers, they tend to say I hate PvP and then they give you a long list of things they don't like about PvP games and a lot of that shit is valid, but there's a lot of things about people who don't like PvP that they don't like to mention because there's a lot of psychological things going on. And I'll explain more about that. But Helldivers is pretty cool. I don't own the game. I haven't played it. I've seen videos. It looks fucking cool. But the reason I like Helldivers 2 is because, or Helldivers 1 is because it's not a PvP game. It's a PvE game that happens to be extremely popular right now in the moment. At least at the beginning part of the first quarter of 2024. I thought it was going to be a trendy game. And but I mean by what I mean by that is like we all see them, right? We all see these games that like are very popular for a week or two, maybe a month if you're lucky, and then they drop off the charts into fade up into oblivion, right? Into obscurity. I thought Helldivers was going to be something similar to that, not necessarily because of the quality or because it's a bad game or a good game. It has nothing to do with that. It's just trends typically do that. So in my mind, I was like, trends, that's why they're called trends. They're hot for a moment, then they're not for even longer. So I was wrong. It seems like it's been a mainstay for the last few months, if I'm not mistaken. I wish I found out exactly when this game came out. As a matter of fact, pull that up real quick. Where is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm old enough. February. So let's see, Feb. Okay, so it's only been about 2 months. So at least I think it says February 8th, 2024, but sometimes when they have like some sort of an update or something, they also update the date. I noticed games do that. I'm not entirely sure why. Like, I just feel like you should just leave the original date on there, but maybe there's a valid reason as to why they do that. But even though I don't own Helldivers and I've never played Helldivers 1 or 2, I feel like it's a huge win for us PvEers because it still shows that PvE combat is still very valid, right? It's still fun to group up with some friends. That's the social aspect of it. And then go and kill some, as the kids call them, bots. Actually, I'm lying. I should take that back. The term bots has been around way before the trendy stuff. I feel like maybe the kids now they use AI. I like AI better. Sounds cooler. Bots just sound like cannon fodder, right? Like they're just mindless artificial intelligence just put in front of you so you can mold them down. I like the sound of artificial intelligence, the sound of AI, because it shows that it even though it's created artificially, it's still intelligent. Was that not the most riveting description ever? But big win for us PvEers with Helldivers. It's fun. It's and also the fact, and I do have to give. I'm not even going to say honorable mention because like this game has been. I remember playing it and loving it. Left 4 Dead 2. That's still a fucking valid game, and that game came out. Jesus, man, I remember having an Xbox 360 when that game was when that game first came out. So it came out in like man 2000 and you know what? Let me look it up real quick. Left 4 Dead 2. 2009. My God. So good times, man. I remember my old apartment. Me and a friend used to just sit there and play it all night. We would literally play it for like fucking 12, 13 hours straight. And it would be like 4 in the morning. I'm like, dude, I'm going to bed. And he's like, you serious? Those are his words. He was like, you serious? You serious? I'm like, yeah, bro, we played it for like 12 hours. He was like really mad that I was going to sleep. But that's how captivating that game was. And it goes to show you that Valve are fucking wizards, first of all. Like the number one and number two top most played games by not only current players, but by like daily players that they log in every single day for many years to play these games and they remain in the top 1 and 2, at least on the Steam charts. I don't know about any other marketplace or platform where maybe a different type of game is more popular. But Counter Strike 2 and Dota, both made by Valve. And that just goes to show you like God damn. Like these guys are wizards, man. And Left 4 Dead is still very valid, like I just said. Like these guys are wizards, man. They really are. Like they know how to make a fucking game that lasts the test of time. I read someone online once said that like Valve is like fine wine, right? Like Valve makes the digital version of fine wine. Like is Team Fortress 2 also by Valve? Oh my God, it's also by Valve. So that's another one that's in the that's 11. That's number 11. It's not in the top 10, but it's right under like Jesus, right? Like these dudes are just say what you want to say. I'm sure there's a lot of criticism against. I don't know too much about Valve because to my knowledge, Valve was more on the PC side. I was not a PC. I got into PCs 2016, and then not even fully. I kind of just dipped my toe in 2016, and then right now by 2024, I'm strictly PC. But yeah, I didn't hear too much about Valve aside from Left 4 Dead, which I played on the Xbox or whatever. But anything else, Dota, I don't know anything about really. Counter Strike, I've heard of it. Everyone has. I don't play it though. I do wish times have changed, right? I do wish there were more PvE games like Helldivers, right, where it was just strictly PvE, just group up with some friends and kill shit like Left 4 Dead or whatever. I do like the idea of friendly fire. I love that. I always turn it on when I play with my friends. Some of them get pissed off because I'm like, no, you're not gonna find a loophole because I believe that having I've always said this, in every game that I've ever played that allows friendly fire makes the squad good. It makes you good because you just can't shoot through me to kill someone in front of me or whatever. That's bullshit. Like it makes you more strategic, right? Some people will argue against that. They go, no, fuck that, turn it off. It's a video game. Okay, all right, don't get too serious. I'm just saying that it makes you better. It makes you a better shot because your friend's in front of you. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna find another angle to shoot this zombie or player or whatever AI or whatever is in front of you killing your friend or trying to kill your friend, you find a better angle by maneuvering around your friend so you won't hurt him and then kill the enemy or said target. So that's cool to have something like Helldivers is a big win for PvE guys. I'm looking at the top 10 now. I might have actually no, that's current players, daily players. Yeah, Stardew Valley's up there. That's pretty crazy. That's a great game. I own it, but I haven't really played it. But like, I have two friends that are fanatics, and I see them play it all the time, and I'm like, it's a pretty cool game. I think it was by one creator too, which is even more amazing. Shit, am I even recording right now? I am recording. Good. Um, so I find myself thinking about PvP, and earlier I said I'm I think PvP is fun. I do. For a long time, now that I'm older, I'm not crazy about PvP, and I'll tell you why. Earlier, I said a lot of people, when I talk to some friends, they don't like to mention the ones that hate PvP, the ones that play PvE games. Like I'll play Deadside, and I would hear people ramble on about how much we would be in the PvE servers, right? And I would hear how lots of PvEers are rambling on about how much they hate PvP, and they name all the they do the generic list of why they hate PvP players. The cheating, the hacking, the sweaties. Like you name it. This is a new term that I learned and I can't stop using now because I think it's a perfect way to describe my experience in some PvP games. I'm gonna be fucking that up. Excuse me, like PvP, PvE, but sweaties. That's something I learned new, right? A sweaty is a person who plays this game. They main this game. They play it the most, and they know all of the areas in the map, or they know all of they go online and look at the YouTube videos, and they know the exploits, and they know what guns to use, and those are the sweaties. Like I can't stand those people. Um, I get it, especially if you're playing competitively, right? Like you're gonna want the edge. You're gonna want the strategic edge because I'm 100. As a matter of fact, I'm 1,000% that those top players, like let's use a game for an example, like Counter Strike, right? That's included in the whole esports world, right? Esports, that name. Anyways, I really said what I said about that. Where was I going with this? So a game that's played competitively, anywhere where you see competition, whether it's in the real world, whether it's in like mixed martial arts, whether it's boxing, whether it's chess, there's cheaters in chess. Yes, fucking chess. Can you believe that? and of course that's going to include video games. I'm 100% sure, 1,000% sure that the top 10 players of CS:GO, the ones that play competitively and they're on those kind of dorky teams, uh, I'm sure they go online and they look at all the meta stuff, like what's the best, you know what I mean? Like they have to be on top of the game, otherwise they'll get steamrolled by newer competition. So I get it, like, but the thing is, it's like, what are some of the aspects that I meant that are psychological? Everybody already knows the big reason why PvEers don't like to play PvP games. Like I said earlier, the cheating, the hacking, the sweaties. But let's look at some of the reasons that they don't want to admit, right? Some of the reasons that I personally experience myself. A lot of them are psychological fear, right? Just for some weird reason, if I say it, it'll make sense to you, but I can't connect it in my mind. Like, it's scary to fight another player online. Like, if you're playing CS:GO and you're fighting another player, for some people it's terrifying. I'm one of those people, right? I'm one of those people that, like, I don't know why I find it way more terrifying to face another player um than it is than I do it with AI. With AI, I don't really feel that scared, depending. Like, if I'm playing like a DayZ, for example, and I use mods where I can add AI into the world, I'm still terrified. That doesn't change, but it's not nowhere near as much as an actual other player. I don't know why other players terrify me. If I had to guess, it would be because I know that's another person, and also me personally, I'm an old school gamer. Like, I'm talking like Atari old school. So, like, I grew up on single player games. This whole multiplayer shit, this is relatively new in the gaming space for me. Now, I know there's been multiplayer games back then and on consoles and stuff. But what I mean is, like, most of the games that I've played in my life were against AI, because growing up, that was most of the games that you got. Like, I don't think, or not unless it was couch co op, where you literally sat next to someone and both of you guys, like Contra, for example, both of you guys can have your separate controller and it'll be co op. It'll be you two guys versus the AI. That's been around for a really long time, but it's against AI. Now you can fight against each other. I'm sure you can play. There was baseball games where me and my cousin played on Nintendo. So there was PvP. PvP was also back then or whatever. So it's what I'm trying to say is that, like, s- s- to my knowledge, I don't know if this is exactly true, but and also to my experience, consoles, Atari, PlayStation, all these games, like, kind of geared more towards AI kind of single player experience, right? Because there wasn't a robust multiplayer network, in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Like, I'm sure there was, like, if you were on PC and all that, and you probably had to jump through hoops to get it and use all these weird apps. I got a friend who played who's playing Call of Duty over 15 years ago, and she was like, I had to download all these weird apps. She's like, Truvia, I think she said Truvia was one or something, I don't know. She named all these weird apps that she had to download just to talk to other people who were playing games, because Steam didn't even have chat yet. So, like, multiplayer was not, it wasn't robust like it is now. You've got so many options, so many applications that you can use to talk to people and to communicate and to coordinate or whatever. So I think that's a big reason why there's a fear, right? When I play PvP games, because it's like, I don't know, this is a new experience for me. I'm always playing against AI, and here I am playing against another person. Sometimes it can be exhilarating though, right? Like, lately, I've been playing more PvP games than, like, they're not huge, super known PvP games, like Stalcraft, for example. That's a game that I've been playing. There's PvP elements. I've killed many players. I've got killed way more, but that was fun. When you kill a player, it's like a sense of panic. Like, you're kind of looking around, like, does he have a squad? Where's his squad? But that game is, it's not only is it not well known, but it's definitely PvP. But it's not, super technical PvP. It's Minecraft characters shooting at each other. So, but it's still PvP. I think about my earlier days, like Xbox days, like early, maybe, 2000, what, 12? When did the Xbox 360 come out? Exactly. I wanted, like, a little time frame here. Xbox release date 2005. Holy shit, I didn't know it was that early. Damn. So I remember the Xbox, you could definitely play multiplayer on this. Um Damn, maybe multiplayer was around a little earlier than I thought. I didn't know. 2005. Wow. So I remember playing Street Fighter, right? Normally nowadays in 2024, when you say PvP games, people think of like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Overwatch, The Finals, Counter Strike, Apex Legends. They think of all these shooter games. They don't really think of fighting games, although they do. Don't get me wrong, they do, but they're still as relevant as shooting games, but not as well known. You know what I mean? Not as what's the word? They don't permeate. Is that the? Let me just say the fucking simple version of it. They're not as notorious as fighting games are not as notorious as shooter games. As a matter of fact, I think, in my opinion, fighting games have been on the decline. I don't hear a lot about fighting games. Um, but that's the purest form of PvP, right? One player versus another player. I will go online and fight randoms and get my ass kicked, but then I will fight my cousins and I would fight my cousin. I would fight my friends and anyone who would want to pick up a controller. My roommates. I love Street Fighter, and I was pretty good, but not good, but like good enough to be the best one out of my friends and stuff. But so and we would play this shit for fucking hours. We would play like 50 straight matches. I remember me and my cousin, we counted. We played 50 straight matches. We were going to stop at like 42, 43. He was like, we might as well just make it 50. And I whooped his ass like the vast majority of the time. It was like 40 something. He probably beat me maybe 7 times, 8 times. But that's PvP, right? At its purest form. So I understand the thrill. For a long time, I used to be like, I don't understand this whole push towards PvP. PvP. Why isn't there more PvE games? But then I started thinking, damn, when I was younger, I loved PvP games, but they were fighting games. They weren't really shooter games. And I can't join that squad of people who say, I hate PvP games. Even though I'm on Team PvE, I can't say that I hate PvP games. I do the best. I've said this before, but the best way I can describe them for me, from my experience, I can't speak for no one else but me, is PvP gets boring to me quickly. Unless it's implemented in a fun, creative way or an original way, PvP gets boring really fast to me because there's no real sense of progression, right? Like you dump me on a map. We're having short sessions where we shoot each other silly, and then one person wins more than the other person, and that's usually it's the other person because I suck. So but that's another thing, right? Some people will go, well, I don't play PvP games because I suck and I don't like losing, so therefore I don't play them. That's not the case with me, but I can see someone else say that. But for me, it doesn't matter because I know I'm not that good. But I know because the way my brain works is like I already know that if I became a sweaty in said PvP game, I would be good. I would be as good as the person killing me if I dedicated as much time as that person. But in reality, I don't want to because I don't find games that are PvP oriented usually fun for a long time. I find them fun in short bursts. And maybe that's it. I have a friend who plays Dota, right? And he's got like fucking 4,000 hours in Dota or something like that. And he's been playing for a really long time, but every time you see him play, it's for short bursts. He'll play for 45 minutes, get off, go do things. He's like a father. He has a job, he has a wife. And then a couple hours later, you see him play again for like another 45 minutes. Then you won't see him play for a couple of more hours. Like he plays in short bursts. I can see how he can keep that up for many years, right? You just play maybe 2, 3 times a day, short bursts, and then move out. Like that's kind of cool if you think about it, right? It's a very convenient game where you can just jump in and do a match. I'm treating Arma 3 right now. That's my main game that I'm playing now. I may make a video about that soon or whatever. I know I made one about Reforger, which I really enjoy. But I've been enjoying Arma 3. Like I wish that I caught this game a little earlier because I feel like it's kind of past its prime, but it's still a very solid, valid game today, which still gets updates, by the way. Community updates. I mean, both on the player side and officially, both on the user side and the official side or whatever. So it's like this game is very much still alive, and it's still may not be in the top 10. I don't even think Arma 3. I don't even think is in the top 50, but it's always lingering around the list somewhere, and it's still a very valid game. So is GTA 5, and GTA 5 and Arma 3 came out a day apart, same year. Right, they both came out September of 2013, a day apart. So like, and they're both very valid games. Although I feel like GTA 5 has gotten way more love, and obviously is way more popular. It's like one of the most the biggest selling, not only video games, but it's like one of the biggest selling pieces of like digital media of all time or something like that. Some ridiculous thing like that where it's just wild. So that's one of the reasons, right? The psychological aspects of PvP, right? Like some people are just scared. They're scared to fight other players, and I get that because I feel that. Some other people don't. Some people don't give a fuck, and I think that also has a lot. Let's look at the psychology there, right? Another reason would be that like I don't feel anonymous when I'm on the internet. I never really feel anonymous, right? Some people, they know that they're anonymous and they become assholes, right? You see them all the time in comments, in the comment sections of, on social media. They're just straight assholes because they know that whatever they can do or say, they won't get, there's no repercussions. It's almost like the anonymity, I butchered that word, gives them courage. They're under this courage of they're because they're behind a monitor and a keyboard and they know they can't get in real trouble for saying despicable shit. So it gives them courage. I understand that, but I don't agree with it. Regardless if you are online or a person, a bitch is a bitch. You know what I'm saying? An asshole is an asshole. That's just the way I view things. I don't care. I'm just trolling. Fuck you. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? You're being an asshole. That's it. Point blank, period. I don't care if you're being an asshole to a celebrity or an average person. Like, you don't talk to people that way, in and out of online, in or offline. Sorry. I know I'm sounding like an old man to some of you young kids who may be listening. You're just like, fuck you. I like trolling. Fine. I've read many troll comments and they're funny as shit. I'm not going to lie. But like some of them don't know the difference between tasteful and disrespectful. And they think that being disrespectful is funny. They confuse those two. I've had people come up to me and show me videos. Like, it's people that know my sense of humor because I'm always fucking with people. And they would show me videos of people just roasting other people, and I'm like, that's not even like that's not roasting, that's just insulting. Like, you're just being insulted. There's a difference between being funny and playful and just being straight up insulting. Like, you have to dance that line, right? Comedians do it all the time, and some people don't know how to dance that line, and a lot of those people have IG accounts, they have Twitter accounts, and they'll go and say disrespectful, tasteless shit and thinking that it's funny, and it's like, nah, dog, you don't know how to ride that line. That's why your shit comes out like that. But whatever, man, that's people. I mean, like, give me a second. Peach sparkling water. Excuse me. I feel bad for people who buy sparkling water that says peach on it, and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna taste like a Snapple." I mean, and then these companies don't exactly do those type of people a favor because the cans are like neon orange with like yellow and white swirls. You look at it, you're like, "Oh, this might be like a cool peach vanilla type deal," and then you drink it, it's like, "Oh, this is just fucking water with bubbles in it." Disappointment. I like sparkling water. I think I've grown to like it. I prefer it actually over juice. You know, I'm older now, so you gotta watch my sugar intake. God damn, that was one of the oldest things I've ever said. There's a lot of what? How long have I been talking? Okay, god damn, I talk a lot. And never hitting the subject, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I talk a lot. It's hard for me to. I don't write anything down. I just go. That's one of the psychological aspects of PvP fear, right? Um, some people don't feel that cloak, like I was saying earlier. They don't feel that confidence that other people feel when they're behind a keyboard. I don't feel like that. When I'm online, I feel like, hey, you can still, like, I'm still respectful. I still talk to people the way I would talk to them in real life. I don't troll people. So I feel like eh, eh, here's a I just feel I don't feel like I'm hiding because I don't know what that feeling is, and it's dumb because I am. They don't know who the fuck I am. You know what I mean? So, but I still feel like I'm visible. Like, I'm very, like, hey, there goes my gamer tag. It may not be my real name. You may not know my location or any personal details about me, but I'm not gonna abuse that, and I'm still gonna treat you like a person. That's the way my mentality is. Maybe I'm the fucking softy or the psycho here. I don't know, man. I mean, that goes to show you how inexperienced I am in the multiplayer world, right? Like, I'm still being nice to people. Like, no one's nice to nobody online. They hop on a lobby and call you the N word. That's what people do now. Danny, get with the times. So another one is shyness, right? That's another psychological aspect of people not wanting to play PvP, right? They're shy. They're not, some of them like, "Oh, I don't have a mic." Yes, you do. But I get that too. I get that too because I hit this weird. I have this weird frequency where by default I am shy. I don't like calling people, even if it's like bill collectors. I don't like bothering people. Not bill collectors. Why the fuck would I call them? They call me when I'm paying a bill online or when I have to talk to someone about my apartment. Or I hate doing that. Like I don't like calling them. I don't want to feel like a bother, and there's also a weird shyness to it. But I dance this weird line, this weird frequency where I can put that aside and handle my business. Some people can't get past that. They can't get past like the cringy feeling of talking to someone, the social discomfort. So they kind of don't do it. They avoid it. Me, I can put all that social discomfort, that weird cringy feeling, I could just move that to the side and handle what I got to handle. And usually what I say is pretty clear and concise. Usually, not all the time. English is actually my second language, but Spanish being my first, in case anyone's wondering. Um, So I get that. I get why people would be these two psychological aspects of PvP gaming, right? One is fear, one is shyness. We already know the other ones, right? Hackers, cheaters. Those are people who are just they don't really want to get into the psychological aspects of it. But I think a lot of it is fear, and a lot of it is um getting you out of your discomfort zone, right? Because like with PvE games, for the most part, you can adjust it. You could adjust the difficulty. I know friends that do this. They'll put the difficulty on super easy and then just blow right through the game. And I'm like, wow, that's got to be fun. Not right. I would fucking die of boredom if I could just blow through the game. It's no fun in that. But with players, you can't do that. Players are very smart. They're very wily. They know how to camp. They know how to do. They have reaction time and all that shit. So I can see why people would be intimidated by PvP, but I also can see how some people would abuse uh, PvP, right? By hacking and we all know that. Like I said, those are the classic age-old reasons why a lot of PvPers like me don't like PvPers, right? The sweaties. That's another one. Like if you love a game, you should be able to play this game as much as you want, right? Everybody has a game that they sweated over and that they sat there and they looked up videos. And mine's is Arma. Like I'm becoming like an Arma sweaty. I got like over 100 hours already in just these past few weeks. Like I've been playing this shit a lot. A lot of it though is probably just the launcher hanging around. So I wouldn't say 100 solid hours. I would probably say like maybe 60 solid hours. But that's a lot for me, for someone like me who just I don't have a game. I don't think I've ever played any single video game for 1,000 hours. I think the longest game I've ever played in my life was like 500 something hours, and that was Fallout 76. Yes, I know. Out of all the video games in the world, Fallout 76 happens to be the one that I played the most. And 500 something hours is like it's small change to some people or whatever. But I was an early adopter of Fallout 76. It there was a lot wrong with it in the beginning. My game crashed a lot repeatedly on PlayStation. This is when I was on console. But whatever. Weird game. I know it's a weird choice. I like the game. I don't mean the game itself isn't weird. I enjoy the game. I think Fallout 76 is a good game personally. I know that's probably a controversial statement, although the opinion is changing. I feel like most people that play Fallout 76 give it a chance now end up enjoying it, so that's good. But that is a weird choice to actually for that being my game that I played for the longest. Where am I going with this? So I've seen it. I've played GTA online, and I've seen people just running around hacking, giving people all this money. They were giving me money. They were raising up my levels. I think I raised up like 10 levels. It was just this guy. Every time I got near him, it just I heard like money sounds, and there was like hearts everywhere, and I was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" You can tell he was like hacking or whatever. And that's what happens when you introduce players to the game, right? But I can't say, oh, I hate PvP because of that, right? There's always going to be bad apples everywhere you go. There's bad apples in your family. There's bad apples in your friends list. There's always somebody in your immediate vicinity that's going to try to fuck it up for everyone else. So I can't just blame. That's not a PvP thing. That's a human thing. Now you can completely remove the human element out of a game and just play you versus AI or bots or whatever, and that makes sense, right? That's fun. But like my favorite type of games are games where you can play against the bots yourself, but you also can play with players against bots, like Helldivers, for example, like Left 4 Dead, like GTFO, fucking fun game, by the way. But it basically just captures it's like a horror Left 4 Dead, essentially. Um, Good game. If anyone hasn't played that, GTFO is solid. Um, don't got anything again. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those PvE guys that hate PvP games because of hackers. And I guess I'm more understanding of a man. I understand that that's always going to happen. And PvP games are fun, man. It's just like I said, if they're implemented correctly. If you add PvP into the mix, like StarCraft, for example, or like some sort of a like Escape from Tarkov extraction shooters. I fucking love extraction shooters simply because of their realistic. They tend to be realistic. Usually military strategy type games, like milsim type games with realistic mechanics and recoil and guns. That's why I love realistic type games. They don't have to be milsims, but as long as they're realistic to a degree. I know lots of others. There's an extractions. I don't know what's it called. There's a lot of them in development, and one of them I want to talk about it specifically. What is it? What's it called here? I got it on my notepad. Incursion Red River, right? That looks cool, but a lot of people are knocking it because it doesn't look necessarily ready. It's going to come out on early access. Hallelujah, because it looks like it's still kind of rough. But it's basically Escape from Tarkov for single player and co-op, but like not against. There's no PvP in it. It's just you and your friend against bots, or you against bots, or AI. I don't like calling them bots. I like the AI term better. I feel like it fits the description better. Well, sometimes they're not really intelligent, right? I've played against those. I like that idea, and I always said that. Like someone in the comments wrote when I was looking at these Incursion Red River videos, which is supposed to be a single player Tarkov or whatever. It could be even an offline Tarkov. Somebody wrote if Tarkov had a single player mode without that mod, that SP Tarkov or whatever, um, sales would skyrocket. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, yeah, I'll be one of those people that would buy it. But then again, I don't want to change the PvP aspect of the game because PvPVE, that's what Tarkov is. I don't want to change that for people. There's people who go on there specifically to kill other players, and I don't want to change that. I don't want to take that away from them. I just want to add. A lot of people get offended. They go, "Oh, I wish this game had a PvE mode." They go, "Fuck you! Go play another game." And you're like, "God damn! I didn't say to mess with the mechanics of what the game already is. I'm just saying add an addition." Like, God damn. But they're very passionate about their games. Some of them rightfully so, some of them aren't. But it's cool that games like that, although this Red River Incursion game, it does look rough, and I hope it makes it. I really do. I might buy it myself. I think the price is going to be under $20, which I'm like, oh yeah, I can try that. I really hope it makes it because I wanted to. I don't think it's going to set a precedent. Like honestly, I don't think it's going to make a big splash, and not because I have any faith in it. It's just because I feel like in today's world, in 2024, everyone's aiming towards multiplayer. Everyone's aiming towards PvP. So to have a game that you can play with friends against bots, like that's cool and all, but people really want to shoot each other, right? According to the Steam charts, at least, where 7 of these games are PvP games, and they're all shooters, by the way. Except for one, I think it's that Blade Naraka game, which is some sort of a, I don't know. It looks like, to me, when I look at it, it just looks like an Asian ESO online with just PvP. That's what it looks like to me. Um, Maybe I hit the nail on the head there. Maybe I didn't. But it there's lots of reasons that people aren't necessarily telling you why they don't enjoy PvP games, but a lot of them are psychological. They don't want to admit. I'm cool with PvP games, man. I don't hate them. I find other games fun, and that's okay, right? And that's okay. And I feel like people should be a little more honest. Although some are, I'm not gonna lie. When I'm running around through the forums, just looking at stuff, I do see people. They are honest, and they say things like, I suck at it. I'm not necessarily good, or I'm a little scared, or I'm a wimp. And I'm like, well, at least those people are being honest, because I get that. For someone like me who I'm not really used to multiplayer games, when I play them, it is a little nerve wracking or whatever. But it is pretty exhilarating when you kill a player because you're just like, holy shit, I killed. Like when I played Hunt Showdown, right? Me and my friend play Hunt Showdown. That game was terrifying, because there's like permadeath involved, so there's like a high state of anxiety always. But I've got a few kills by camping mostly. I'm not proud of myself, but I got kills on there, and I was like, cool. I finally killed the player. I was like, I could have just stopped playing the game there. I'm like, okay, I'm good enough to at least kill a player or two. I killed him and his friend. That was cool. I don't think it happened again after that. I just got my ass whooped. Good stuff, man. Not a hater of PvP. Just doesn't capture my attention. Not unless it's included in some sort of like a cool new way. I already said that like 5 times already, though. I do wish there were. I don't have a problem with PvP games being king right now, and I'll leave at this note. But I do wish that there were more games like Helldivers. Not exactly like Helldivers where you fight like bugs and you're like space marines or whatever. Not literally like Helldivers, but games where they're PvE games that are strictly PvE that can be played multiplayer with friends. Those aren't really in the top 10 because mostly everyone's just trying to kill each other. But Stardew Valley is in the top 10, right? And that doesn't have any PvP to my knowledge or whatever. So it's cool to know that there are players out there that like shit like that too, man. Long live PvP, man. But I hope PvE lives longer. See you guys later.